Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to teach you some things I know about how to build a strong team. And whether you're the official leader of a team or just a member of a team, I'm here to remind you of your agency in the dynamics that you're in, and offer you some tools that will help you build and nurture a strong team. I work as a leadership and team building coach, and I'm usually working with small family businesses or just small businesses where the people they feel like family, like really tight-knit teams. And of course, I also have been and am a part of a few teams myself. So I know a thing or two about what it takes to build a strong team, and I'm very, very passionate about the subject. Because being in learning and growing in relationship dynamics is such a big, important part of life. At some stage or another, we all have been part of a team, a class, a group of colleagues, maybe a sports team, a family. We're all born into some relationship dynamics. If we weren't, we wouldn't survive. We wouldn't even be here right now. So, teaming up with others is something we're made for. And as we grow, relationships continue to shape our lives. And although they can be quite challenging and trying to say the least, sometimes they can be a big headache and quite frankly, very, very, very draining to the point where you might feel you're better off breaking off from the herd and doing your own thing. But no man is really an island, and in the long run, you know that you would feel the absence of real relationships in your life. The other day, I was thinking about something. I was thinking about AI tools and how they're all the rage. And I know a lot of us are using them and we're learning to delegate our tasks out to something that is seemingly easier to communicate and rely on than a fellow human. Then we don't have to do those tasks that we're not so good at. The AI bots will do it for us, which is great. But it seems to me like we're continuing down this road of I can do it all myself, I don't need anybody. And nothing could really be further from the truth. Human relationships add so much growth, richness, and meaning to our lives. They hold up these mirrors for us. They help us develop, learn, grow, feel, and build in a way that no soulless intelligence ever could. But they do require a conscious effort and nurturance and appreciation. That's for sure. So, what is something you can do to help strengthen your team? Well, I say train yourself to start focusing on strengths. And what I mean by that is what's actually going well with your team? What is going well with the individuals on your team? What do they do well? What do you do well? Emphasis on the well, rather than sort of our autopilot way of scanning for error, and focusing on that. We all tend to do that, right? Scan, see where the problem is, and try to go in and fix it. But but when we do that, we're always hyper focusing on what's wrong about each person, and I find that that doesn't usually lead to anything that productive when it comes to strengthening your team. People who really know how to acknowledge, highlight, and champion what is going well, what is strong about a person, a team, or a situation, these people are somewhat rare. Like I imagine you might be if you're spending time watching a video like this. So train yourself to keep focusing on strengths. I find that goes a really long way. There's this really helpful tool I recommend from a company called Gallup. I'm not affiliated, but I do use their self-assessment tool and their frameworks a lot when I work with teams and individuals. It sort of breaks down 34 general strengths, and you basically get a list of your strengths in descending order, your top 5 to 10 being your top strengths, and the ones lower on your list not really being your strong suits. And I also have a 2 hour and I also have a 2 hour workshop called Drop In. I'll link it below. It has audio, video, and workbook segments and another short free workbook download. that help you take those first steps to focus your attention on your strong suits. I'll link them all below so you can check them out. These are great tools to help focus your attention on first your strengths and then the other people on your team. But of course, you don't need those. You can find other ways too. You are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole, and you have your way. So, even a blank piece of paper and some time for focused attention to note down what is right about you and the others is a really good start. So, I want to illustrate this with an example. In my work with teams, we sometimes get to go on these immersive multi-day team bonding retreats. We usually go hiking in the mountains, hike to a high peak, stay in a refuge, spend a lot of good quality time with each other in the fresh air, enjoying being active and good food. And and this setting really brings about some great conversations usually. So but before the retreat, I spend a little time with each of the people coming and have them do some kind of inventory on themselves, focusing in on their strengths and what they each care about. And I use that strengths tool and some of the coaching tools I've included in the workshop I mentioned. Um, I really enjoy these deep immersions because I get to be part of the team for those days. And I get to really feel into their dynamics, into their difficulties, into their sense of care, and all the richness that's there and the potential that they can reach. And I want to show you something really quick. Let me share screen. Mm. Here we go. Here we go. This is a team of 7 people, and this spreadsheet shows a snapshot of their individual strengths just all together. And you can see that, they have things in common, but they're very, very different from each other. They have a different set of strengths and different orders, and all these things mean something. Um, and it's just really cool to see everything side by side because you can start making connections like, oh, Natalia could collaborate with George because they could put these two strengths together, something like that. But I think this is really, really cool. I just wanted to show you that really quick. Um, but what's even cooler is the shift that this focusing on noticing, appreciating, and getting curious about everyone's strengths and how they can be creatively paired and leveraged, that shift that it creates, the good energy that it brings. Going back to that team in the mountain, when we started talking about this, um, we were sitting around having a tasty meal at the refuge after a long, long day of hiking. And it was kind of slow at first because this was something new. They weren't used to focusing on strengths. They were used to like feedback and how to improve sort of thing. They weren't used to focusing on strengths, but once one person made the start to share, then another shared, and then another joined in, and quickly everybody was joining in, and there was so much energy and engagement and aha moments and a willingness to listen to each other and build. And we went to bed super late that night. No one wanted to go to sleep. We were having too much fun, honestly. We were having too much fun learning about each other, bonding. And these conversations, they continued during the descent the next day. Just so much energy, all coming from focusing on strengths. Um, the team that gathered to go up the mountain 2 days before was a different team than the team that came down. And I don't mean we lost anybody, um, but the energy had shifted. And where the team was a bit stuck before, with kind of lots of insecurity and rivalry and a general lack of trust between each other, they now had more of an opening, more of an appreciation and understanding for one another. The relationships didn't seem as draining anymore. And most importantly, like I said, there was an opening. There was more time and energy freed up to spend on productive and creative pursuits. No one wants No one wants a headache, and no one wants to be pushed around, but plenty of people are eager to put their strengths to good use and be part of something that matters. And I think you'll agree that if you and the members of your team begin to feel rewarded from focusing on strengths and being part of shaping something meaningful, this is a much better strategy forward. Because there is richness in relationship. There's a richness in differences, and differences don't need to be divisive. They can be our biggest source of strength if we find ways to join forces with each other. So, so try this with your team. But first, I want you to try this with yourself. I want to stress that it's very, very important that before you go and focus on anyone else, that you focus a bit on yourself, your strengths, what's right about you, what you care about, what your values and intentions are. The clearer you are with yourself, the more self-awareness and genuine appreciation you give yourself, the more easily and naturally you'll be able to extend that appreciation outwards. The more you'll be able to sort of play detective and be curious and appreciate and highlight the others' shiny qualities, others' strengths, and encourage them to take notice of them too. And I want to say one more thing here that it takes at least two people to create a dynamic, but it only takes one to shift it. And I'm saying this because I want to remind you again of your agency in the team dynamics that you happen to be in. And if you're watching this video and leaning into this stuff, I know one thing about you for sure. You care. You care about putting your best step forward and you care about your people, your team. So let's put that care into action. Take that inventory of strengths. Acknowledge, appreciate. It goes a really, really, really long way. And if you could use a little help getting started focusing in on these things, check those resources I mentioned earlier. I'll make sure to link them below for you. Appreciation goes a really long way. I think I said that quite a few times now, but it's true because that is the road to being able to creatively leverage all of these wonderful strengths that I know exist within you and within the individuals on your team. That's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.